Hey, sweet little boo, how y'all doing? Listen, y'all, this was about to be just a quick motivational video where I, just inspire people to not be too hard on themselves and stop being so critical of themselves. But you know what? I wasn't going to even put this in the A Whole Word series, the 21 to 41. I wasn't going to put this in there. But as I started to really gather my thoughts on this topic, I said, no, this got to go in the series, honey, because this is a whole word right here, all right? It would be easy for me to say to you, stop being so hard on yourself. Stop being overly critical of yourself. But until you trace back why you're doing it in the first place, where the thought pattern is coming from, what is the message that you're hearing in your mind that is telling you to constantly critique yourself and constantly be critical and constantly be judgmental, until you go back and figure out what that is, you're not gonna be able to just stop, okay? So I said, now let me tell y'all a little bit more about my story. We can elaborate on this right here. Baby, I had to go on a journey some years ago. I've been on a lot of journeys. I hope to continue to go on journeys because I always want to just get better and be a better person. So I had to go on a journey where I stopped to pay attention to who my critic is. Who is the person in my mind constantly critiquing me? Where is that voice coming from? You know what I'm saying? I talked before in another video about how a lot of times we are the judge, the jury, the prosecuting attorney, and we are the God with the key, okay? We are holding ourselves prisoner, all right? But sometimes it's a panel of judges, all right? You ain't the only judge. You got another voice in there, and where is that coming from? And some years ago, after some thought, some therapy, I realized that my critic is my mother. And let me just say this, and because this right here is my defense mechanism coming out. I have to, it's like we have to protect our parents, all right? We feel this need to tell people, oh, well, they weren't so bad, oh, they were great, or whatever. And my mom is not so bad. She was great. She did the best she could, and she went above and beyond to make sure that definitely all of our material needs were met, and she with what she had met our emotional needs. But that doesn't mean that she was perfect, okay? And that doesn't mean that there weren't some things that she did that were incorrect and some things that she passed down that I don't want anymore. I don't want to carry that baggage anymore. And so many times I see people get into adulthood and they start to idealize their parents or even idolize them, especially if they're deceased, okay? It's like they just put them in this place where they only think about the positive things. They only want to think about the good things. And if you do that, whether your parents are living or they have gone on to be with the Lord, honey, if you do that and you don't pay attention to those things that they tried to pass on to you that were negative, you are bound to either live by them or repeat them, or both, okay? And if you go and do the exact opposite of the end of the extreme of what your parents did, you still living by it. It's still dictating, okay, what you do. So you got to be honest with yourself and realistic with yourself, not just about the good stuff, but about the stuff that they passed on that really you don't want that. You shouldn't have that in your life. So I mentioned to you all that in another video that I am very performance based. I was. All right. Now I'm at a place in my life where I'm accepting me for me. Okay. That's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Period. But I was very performance based before. And who also is very performance based? My mom. She is very performance based. And she feels like if she's not doing something, okay, if she's not financially giving something, if she's not doing all of the things, then she herself is worthless, okay? She has never gotten to a place where she has accepted her value, where she's accepted that who she is as a woman. She just has never gotten there, honey. She in her 70s and she still is not there. She operates out of her trauma, and a lot of times, y'all, as parents, people do that, okay? So she never got to a place where she could say to herself, you know what, even on the day when I'm failing, I'm still great, I'm still awesome. She never got there. And so without even trying to, inadvertently, she passed that message on to me. It was always do this and then, do this and then. But what about when I'm flunking? What about when I suck? Okay, what about that? Why do I have to always be performing? So just to give you an example, it never felt like there was enough or that I could do enough. So if I was to get a 95 on a paper, That's an A, okay? That's an A. I don't care how you twist it, it's an A. My mom would say, oh, that's great, but what about the 5 points you didn't get? Which ones did you miss? And so there would be more focus on what I didn't do right than on what I did do right. And so even if I brought home 100, this is awesome. Now, what about the next test? Okay, so now we skipping off of what I've already done well. Now we jumping all the way to the next thing. Or, oh, you got 100. That's so great. Congratulations. But I see there was a room for bonus points here. Why didn't you get a 105? So it was more focused on why I wasn't perfect at the tip top instead of just focus on what I did do well. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I really think it is important. And I try not to talk too much to parents because people get an attitude because I don't have no kids that I'm a therapist. I can't talk to you about your children. But anyway, I think it's important for parents to celebrate your children even when they're not doing the greatest thing. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you're celebrating the fact that they fail, but you're letting them know, you're validating them. Okay, you're letting them know, hey, I still love you. You're still an awesome person regardless of the fact that you didn't do so great today. All right, don't let it always be like feeling like they're running after your affection or after your approval. And sometimes that is the message that you can pass on if all you do is focus on the perfection, focus on the performance. And so that's what she did. I received that message over and over and over in my life. And it has taken me some time, you know what I'm saying, to realize that, my mom has a lot of trauma that she didn't deal with. And you all, this is why it's another thing. It's important for people to deal with their trauma, because if you don't, you talk to people from a place of trauma. Okay, some folks right now are raising their children out of a place of their trauma. It's your trauma raising them, and we don't realize that a lot of times when we are talking to folks, we ain't even talking to them, we're talking to their trauma. We're talking to their past issues. We're talking to the hurt that they received. We're talking to their trust issues. Whatever went wrong, that's who we're talking to. That's who we are arguing with. That's who we're trying to be in a relationship with. That is why it's important for you to deal with your trauma. So it wasn't until a few years ago, I was watching some therapist, and I can't even remember the lady's name, but she was talking about relationships and she was breaking a lot of stuff down. And it was in that moment a few years ago that I realized that I look back at some of the people that I had been dating, and I realized I was dating my mother over and over and over again, trying to get that approval. Now, has my mama ever been as awful as any man that I have dated? No. No day of the week. But that need for, if I just do this, if I just do this, if I just buy you this, if I just give him this, if I just go above and beyond, he's going to love me. He's going to accept me. He's going to think I'm worthy. He's going to think I'm great. That is my mom's mentality. That's what she lives by. It doesn't matter how much love is given to her. She feels like if she's not doing something for the other person, she's just unworthy. Okay? That's her battle. I don't want that to be my battle. Okay? And so I had to start to realize that I can love and accept my mother and not accept that message. Okay? So the critic in my mind, the judgmental person in my mind, it was my mom for many years. And you know why? Because she is overly critical and overly judgmental of herself. That's how she thinks. Can I talk to her about it? No, because she's not there. She's not in a place where she is ready to hear that about herself or ready to change, and she may never change. Okay, so I want you to understand that sometimes your older parents, they're not going to change. You just gotta love them for who they are, but it doesn't mean you have to accept every single thing about them. You need to sit with that and pay attention to that. Okay, because sometimes women, we could be walking around here and we are our mama, and that's not always an awesome thing, especially if you get into a marriage and the person married you and the next thing you know they talking to your mama. How's that fair? That's a whole word right there for you. Okay, he married you, not her, and the next thing you know she is coming out of your mouth. Yeah, because you haven't dealt with, okay, what are the messages that were passed on to me from her? What are the things that she said? Or even from your father, okay? Because my daddy, honey, he passed on his fair share of messages as well. That could be a whole nother video for another day, baby. But as far as relationships are concerned, this is why I'm dwelling on my mom, because it was her approval that I was seeking in these relationships with these people, thinking that if I just turn enough flips, eventually they are going to love me, they are going to accept me, and that is a bold-faced lie. I have gotten to a place now, and you heard this here first, honey, I'm claiming copyright, Take me as I am or leave me like you found me, okay? And that's a whole word. It's another whole word for you, all right? That is where I am. I have some flaws. I have some imperfections. I'm going to be a sweet woman in a relationship. I'm going to be good to you. I'm going to do my best. But honey, some days I'm going to get on your nerves. Some days I'm going to be argumentative. Some days I'm going to raise my voice. Sometimes, okay, I may wake up on the wrong side of the bed. I need you to be patient with me. I need you to love me for who I am. And I need you to understand that I am still learning. I am still growing. And I'm going to be learning and growing until the Lord take me from this earth. You understand? I am not perfect. And I'm not going to try to be, nor should I have to strive to be a perfect person in order to receive love. Either just love me for who I am or leave me for who I am. Period. Accept me for who I am or reject me for who I am. But it took a long time for me to get to that point because I had to figure out who is this critic in my head as to why I'm being so hard on myself when I'm not able to do, when I'm not able to perform, when I underperform in a situation. Who is this critic in my head? Where is this voice coming from? Why am I judging myself so harshly? It wasn't me. It was my mom. And understand this, a parent being absent from your life could do the same amount of damage. Okay, there are some people whose mothers weren't there, whose fathers weren't there, and they received a message in their mind as a result of that, and they played it over and over again. Some people think that they are too difficult to deal with, and that message got passed on from because a parent left them, abandoned them, didn't want them, so they took on the message that I'm unworthy, or they took on the message that I must be too much trouble, I must be a lot of trouble, and so then that causes them to put up with the bottom scum of the earth in a relationship because, I just need to be glad to have somebody. I'm just glad they putting up with me because in their mind they think that they are too much trouble. Okay? Sometimes people are being arrogant and cocky and just super insecure, and that's a message that was passed on from a parent. So I just want to challenge you today. Sit with that, sugar. If you are overly critical of yourself, if you are hard on yourself, it may not be a parent, it may be a teacher, it may be a sibling, whatever. Who is your judge in here? Who is the critic in your mind? Where are you getting that message from that you need to be beating yourself up on a regular basis, okay? Whatever your messages are, where are they coming from? All right? Sit with that, and I hope you get something out of this today. Okay? I will see y'all soon. We're not done. We're just getting started, all right? 21 to 41, y'all. Take care.